Alrighty, guys, thanks for joining me. This is your host, ID Gister. First, I want to apologize for my voice. Been under the weather all this week, and so I'm just haven't had much chance to do much because I haven't felt very good. So, anyways, so I did a video the other day because a lot of people had asked me in the past about Ballscore and how do I input data and blah blah blah. And I went through and I showed people how I did it, but then someone, Clark Rotz, one of my good subscriber friends out there, actually posted a message and said, "Hey, have you ever tried to do the importing the rosters?" And so I started looking at that, and I was able to do it. So I thought I would let everyone know how to do this if you are trying to use Ballscore, because it'll actually save you a lot of time importing rosters and also importing the actual lineups from these games. So the information that I'm going to be sharing with you, you can actually get at the ballstat.com website. You actually go to support up at the top here. You hit the support tab, and then you click on the need help with roster files, retro sheet, ATM, GR, and you click here. And this basically gives you the how and why and how to do it. So if you're following along with me, great. But if you get lost or if if you're not understanding what I'm doing, you can always go to the ball stat, go to support, and then click on the link to see a step-by-step information. So first thing it says you want to do is gathering your rosters and your lineups. So the first thing we're going to do is going to go to retro sheet. So I'm going to right click the link and just open in a new window. There we go. So there's retro sheet for us, all the great information. And what you want to do is you want to go to data downloads and play-by-play files. So data downloads, play-by-play files, it's going to take you to this page here. And what you want to do is you want to find your season that you are actually working with, and you want to download that. So for 2018, I'm going to click on the 2018 and I'm going to click save. So it's going to download it and it should save it for you. And we're going to open that folder up. I'm going to bring it over here actually. You should get something that's called 2018 EVE file, and it should look all zipped up. Depending on your version of Windows, you might need to extract it. But with Windows 10, you can just double click on it and it'll show you all the files inside of it. What you're interested in is all of the roster, ROS files. Roster, that's what roster stands for. And you can see that it has all of the roster files that I'm going to be using, except for I don't need the one that's called Team 2018. So we can just get rid of that one. And then what you can do is either extract it to a folder, or what I would just do if I'm using Windows 10 is just copy that. Just going to copy it. And then you're going to take it and put it into a folder where you know where it's going to be located, because you're going to need this later. So I'm going to keep it in the same spot that I had used before, which was my Ballstat data, and then in the rosters. And then all you would do is right click and paste it in there, and all your files will pop in there just like they did right there. And you can see I've got some roster files that I had created previously, but all the other files are there. So that's kind of the first step. You want to get the roster files for whatever season you're working on. Get those roster files, save them into a folder. Again, your Ballstat data folder. Ballstat data might be located somewhere else, so you have to know where you're actually going to be getting that from. Again, you can go into Ballscore and bring up your file, Ballscore properties, and in there you go to the folder option, and this will tell you where all your rosters are being saved. So that will tell you where you need to go to get your rosters. So I'm just going to save the rosters in the same folder as I've got everything else. So that's, for me, that's going to be D ballstat data / rosters, and that's right where I just saved it for you guys. Ballstat data rosters, and then copied all the rosters in there. So that's kind of the first step to what you need to do. Um, so the next step you want to do is actually join a Yahoo group out there called ATMGR for BBW group. There's also a link here in the directions here, but if you already, let's see, open a new tab. Thank you very much. All right, so once you sign up, or if you already have a Yahoo account, you need to log in, and you're just going to look for the ATMGR for BBW group. And somewhere on your screen, it'll say this is a restricted group. You need to have if you need access to this group, send the moderator a message or whatever. And it has like a little message box, and you can just type in there, use Ballscore, and would really like to get the data files or whatever you want to put in there. Once you're accepted in the group, which usually takes about a day or two, I think I did this yesterday, and I was accepted today. So it shouldn't take very long. Depends on how often the moderator checks and everything. So once you're accepted to the group, then we need to go to the files section here. So if we go to the files section, and you can see all the different data files that they have stored on their website. There is some helpful hints folder that you might find some information in there on how to do things if you're confused, whatever. So I'm looking at the 2010s because I'm doing the 2018 seasons. I'm going to click on that. I should know before I say that not every season is going to have a data file. So you might want to check your join the Yahoo group and see if they have your season file. I mean, I would say most of them from the 1960s forward are in the system. I'm not sure some of the older ones are. The 50s, it looks like there's most of the 50s there as well. There's a 40s. So, I mean, they got most every season, but just double check. So if I click on my 2010, here are the different seasons, right? So I want the 2018 file. So I'm going to click on that, and again, it should download it, and I'm going to save it. I'm going to open my folder. So you should get something that's called 2018 ATM. Again, if you double click it, there's like 4 files in there. And you're going to need these 4 files, and this is what's going to give you the lineups for each of your different roster files. All right, so if I want to highlight all these again, and I want to copy them. Again, based on your version of Windows, you might need to extract it out. But like I said, with Windows 10, you can just double click on a zip file, and then you can actually just copy those files there. And what I ended up doing was going back to my Ballstat data, right? And I created a new folder called roster data. So you just go in and say, new folder, or however you normally do it. You can click on the home tab, click on new folder, it'll create you a new folder. I call mine roster data because that way I know what this folder is for. And once you create the folder, all you want to do is paste those documents right in there. It'll be blank. I already did this, so you can see that the files are already in there, but I just copied them in again. All right, so there you go. That's kind of the next step. You want to join the Yahoo group, sign up for an account, whatever you got to do to get an account for Yahoo Groups. Asked to join the ATM GR for BBW group. And like I said, depending on how often the moderator checks his email messages, hopefully you'll get accepted. It took less than 24 hours for me. I did it last night. I was accepted at like noon time today. Before noon, I think I was accepted. So it shouldn't take very long, and you might get lucky, and he might check his email 10 minutes after, you put in your request. So, all right. So now what we have to do is we got to create our rosters in Ballscore and attach the lineups and some other Ballscore stuff. Blah 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 blah. Right. It's kind of confusing if you're not a techie person, so that's why I decided to do this video, because it might be easier for you to actually watch. All right, so what I want to do is I want to, I want to actually come over here, right? And I'm going to say, okay. Do I want to say okay? Yes, I think I want to close that. All right. So now what you have to do is just go to the line. There's different ways to do it, but you can hit the RLM button. Is what the directions tell you. So I'm gonna show you that. If you hit the RML button, it'll bring this up right here, right? And I'm actually gonna try and follow along with the directions over on my other screen so I don't confuse anybody. All right, it talks about setting up a league. If you've not created a league already in Ballstat, tells you how to create a league and how to set up your league. Well, I'm not going to cover that because I've already got my own league and I don't want to mess anything up, which I already did. We'll talk about that here in a minute. All right. So what you want to do is you want to click on the load roster button. Let me just make sure I'm not skipping any steps. Hang on a second. Open the rosters, click open to bring it back. All right, so what you want to do is you want to actually, before I think you load your rosters. Now, I think you want to load your roster first. So we're going to load up our roster. So we have the Atlanta 2018 roster. I'm going to open that up, and you can see, super cool, all the players are there alphabetically, which is super, super good. Now what we want to do is we want to click on the tabletop functions. Tabletop functions. It should have your roster file listed in there. And now all you have to do is you want to tell it, hey, I got lineups that I want to use for this roster. So I click on the roster, LUF roster and lineups button. It's going to be looking for those other files we had downloaded from the Yahoo groups. So I'm going to find those files. Again, I'm going to go to my D drive, Ballstat data, and roster data. And there is our file that we had downloaded earlier. Here is actually on my desktop those 4 files that we had downloaded from the Yahoo groups. The one that you really want is this LUF file, this transaction LUF file. You're going to highlight that and you're going to say open. It's going to ask you which team are you dealing with, or which team are you trying to save. I want to say the Atlanta Braves, of course, because I'm doing the Atlanta Braves. And you want to say okay. Now it's going to ask you to save the roster file, and you can just save it back as the original Atlanta 2018 roster, or you can choose a new name, whatever you want to do. And we can say, yeah, we want to replace it, and say okay. So now when I actually click on load, I want to click on save roster. Yeah, once you do that, you want to click on the save roster. It should just flash for a second and then come right back. And if you did everything right, when you click on the load lineups button, all your lineups for all your different games for that Atlanta played will be there. just like that. So you can see all the lineups are there. So if we're playing a game from, let's say, May 10th, all I have to do is click on it and say OK, and it'll load the lineup for me that was actually played on uh, whatever day we chose. Was it May 10th or whatever? And I can say OK, I'm ready to go. Boom. Now I'm going to do the same thing with another team, right? So I'm going to click the RML. Excuse me. Let's find out who Atlanta played on May 10th. I think it was the date we set up. May 10th, so May 10th was Atlanta was at Miami. All right, so we'll do the same thing with the Miami Marlins. So we're going to roll the roster. We're going to find the Miami roster, Miami 2018. I'm going to say OK. It's going to pop all those players in there. And it was May 10th. We were playing, Atlanta was playing at Miami. Good, good. All right. So once I have my rosters in there, I'm now going to go to my tabletop functions again. I'm going to click on the, again, make sure that this is correct. I'm going to say yes, that's correct. I'm going to go back to my D drive, my Ballscore data, and my data roster. There's my file. I say open. We are dealing with the Miami Marlins. I say OK. And then I can save this back as Miami 2018. Save. Yes. OK. Now I want to make sure you click on Save Roster. And then when you load the lineups, there they are. And all I have to do is scroll down to May 10th. Click on OK. And we'll actually verify that with our baseball schedule here. May 10th was, here's the box score. It was JT Realmuto, then Martin Prado, then Sterling Castro, Buston Bourne, Brian Anderson, Derek Dietrich, Miguel Rojas, Lewis Brinson, and pitching is Caleb Smith. So you can see everything matches perfectly. So we know we did it exactly like we did it. Now, I will caution you guys. I can say okay. So now that I've got those roster files, I can create my different games very, very quickly and very easily. Here's the only problem that I ran into. As you know, that I'm playing the Atlanta Braves from the 2018, and I'm on game number 25, I think is what we're up to, game 25. And I've been saving all my stuff in the roster file. So what I ended up doing was saying, okay, well, I'm going to load a roster. I'm going to load up my Atlanta 2018 roster, which was the one that I created before. I said, okay. And then I said, all right, I want to get the lineups for that team. So I went back in and got that transition file. And I said, Atlanta Braves, where are you? There you are. And then I saved it back as Atlanta 2018. And say, yes, I want to replace it. And I said, okay. And then I saved the roster. And then I looked at my lineups. And some of the dates are off. You shouldn't have that problem. I think it's because I had some of these teams already created in the game with my own roster files. So I think it's confused it a little bit. You can see there's a few gaps here. And in fact, it actually missed the games from April 26th to May 5th. But again, that's probably because I was using my own roster file and not the roster file that I should have been using with this. So you shouldn't have any problems with that. But you will notice if I, let's just load up that file, that's fine, okay. And we'll just go to Miami's ready to go, right? And so I've got my game ready to go. Here's the problem is it wiped out all the data I had for the first 25 games because I basically overwrite that data. So that's my kind of my warning to you guys. If you already got a season started, it might be a real pain for you to keep all that data and set this up. So what you probably want to do is obviously set this up before you start any kind of replay or anything like that. So that way you got a fresh, brand new install. And so when you do play the games, all the data will save and you won't have any problems. Now for me, I'm only going to lose like the first 25 games of the season, 24 games, whatever it is. Now I'm not totally disappointed with that, I guess, because I'm not so much concerned with final stats for the season at the end of the season, if we make it that far, anyways. Or I could just, start another one, which I'm actually kind of thinking about doing just because of the way that I understand how this all works now, and I can import, start a brand new one from fresh. But so I'm kind of debating about what to do with that. Anyways, so that's how you're going to get your rosters and your lineups, right? You're going to get your rosters and your lineups. Again, you're going to get your rosters from Retro Sheet, right? And you're going to data download, and then you're going to find your season file. Let's say you're playing the 1986 season, 1986, and you're going to save it, right? And it should save it. And you can see we have a 1986 E file. We double click that, and we want to get all these roster files, right? You want to get all these roster files. You don't need the team one. And you want to copy those, and you're going to copy those into your roster folder that you have in your Ballstat. And you would paste them in there. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to mess anything up with what I've already messed up. So you would just right click and paste, and you should see all your 1969 files go in there. Second thing is you want to get on the Yahoo groups. You want to become part of the ATM GR4BBM. You can always search for that. ATM ATM GR4, and I can just do a search for that, I think. Well, it popped up for me originally. And then once you're accepted into the group, you can go to the file section, find your 1980s, and what did we decide you were going to do? The 1980. What season was it? 1986, I think I chose. So you're going to find your 1986. There it is. We're going to click on it and save that data. And you should have a 1986 ATM file. And that's going to have, remember those 4 files that I was showing you before? It's going to have those 4 files. You want to copy those. And you want to create a new folder. I might call it something like roster data 1986 or something like that, in case you're trying to run multiple, and then you just want to go in there and paste in your roster data. Once you have your roster data and you have your transaction files, that's basically what this is. It's the lineup file. You bring up Ballscore. You go to the RLM. You click on load rosters. You should see that your files in there for whatever team it is. We'll use Arizona. That's fine because I don't think I've done Arizona yet. I'm going to need to do them eventually. So here's Arizona's team. I want to go to tabletop functions, and I want to load up the roster files for the 2018 season. And this is Arizona. Okay. And I'm going to save it as Arizona 2018. Replace it. Okay. I'm going to save the roster. Now when I go to load lineups, you can see all the games for Arizona with their starting day lineups are in there. And this, this one 5, yeah, you can see it missed a little bit of a date there, but you can see most of it's ready to go for you guys. So that's very good. I'm glad that somebody at Clark Rots had sent me a message for all you guys out there that watch this. And if you're looking to do something like this, I'm hoping this helps. But the only reason I can help you is because you guys helped me. So a big shout out to all my players out there, all my subscribers, all my fans, part of the community members that want to help one another. So big shout out to Clark Rots for sending me that information. Uh, and let me know that it's possibly easier to do than what I was trying to show people. So it took me a little while to figure it all out, but now that I figured it out, yeah, it's gonna make my life a lot easier. I am gonna lose the first 25 data or first 25 games worth of data that I had in my season replay. Um, Unfortunately, that's just the way it is, I guess. I'm just going to have to just lose these 25 games. I don't want to really start over again. So, anyways, hoping this helps everyone out there. This is how to get your rosters and your lineups. And if you were able to do this and follow along and able to get yourself set up, and I helped you along, just leave me a message and let me know that all my time and effort was worth it. And again, I can only help you when you guys help me. So appreciate if you ever have any questions, problems, thoughts, suggestions, whatever, email me at idgesterlive@gmail.com. idgesterlive@gmail.com, and I'll get back with you. I've got some payoff pitch charts that I'm sending out to people if you're looking for those or whatever the situation may be. Now, here's going to be a problem, though, because we have the Arizona Diamondbacks. Right, so if I go to the team functions, hello, Arizona. So it puts that information in there. Then I want to click on that, replace it. Hit OK. Save roster. Yeah, I'm sure it's doing that for a reason. I just haven't figured out why it's doing that. Maybe I have to save it as a different name. I don't think so. Which you see the Miami one is done, right? I'm not sure why the, let's see, if we, Arizona. See, that's the name right there. Change line description. Wonder. Arizona 2018 roster. Yes, that's what I want to save it as. Okay. The name is Arizona 2018. Oh, maybe I had to get out of that screen, I guess. Okay, maybe that's maybe that's all it was. You have to actually close that screen and it'll actually transfer it over there for you. All right. That makes sense. Had me a little freaked out there for a second, but yeah, you can get your season files, your lineups. It'd be much easier for you than trying to add in all the players. This is going to save me a long, long time. So hopefully this will save you all a long, long time as well. We'll see everyone next time. Thanks for watching, guys.